Hey guys, it's Joe Troyer and welcome to this PBN training number 1, the foundation as we are calling it. So number 2 will be all about buying domains, and number 3 all about hosting and setup. If this is your first video that you're watching in this series, I'd recommend going back one video and watching the overview so you guys can see exactly what it is that we're going to be covering today. And in the second version and third version, get a good understanding of why we're actually doing this and the goal behind it as well. So let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off. Today, again, is the PBN Foundation Training number 1. We're going to be talking about what a PBN really is, Google's terms of service, and Matt Cutts a little bit, why I haven't really talked about PBNs up until now, as well as starting to get into quality control metrics that we're looking at when we're actually purchasing domains for our private blog network. So we're not going to be getting in the exact metrics we're looking for, hey, domain authority, page authority of this or that. What we're going to be talking about just the core metrics that we use and what those metrics actually mean so that you guys understand it, so that moving forward in training number 2, when we're actually buying domains, you guys know the reason behind why we're doing what we're doing, right? So that you have that foundation training. And obviously that's the whole goal and theme of this first video. So for those of you guys that are brand new to private blog networks, I'm hoping that today's video is really going to help get you guys caught up and where you need to be in order to really take advantage of this series. So a private blog network really is just a set of domains that you own for the sole purpose of linking to your money sites. And what I mean by money sites are sites that you're trying to rank higher in the search engine result pages or Google, right? So this is a very simple, easy to understand example, right? So site number 1 is linking to the site that you want to rank. That would be one of your PBN domains. Site number 2, linking again. Site 3, 4, and 5, they're all just linking inbound to the site that you're actually looking to rank, right? So very easy to understand. A lot of people just overcomplicate the crap out of a private blog network, and we're going to try to clear this up a lot over these 3 videos. So a private blog network can actually consist of free blogs like WordPress.com, Blogger.com, Tumblr, LiveJournal, Blog.com, Drupal Gardens, or Typepad, right? So free blogging platforms can also consist of things like social profiles, Twitter or app.net or any sites like that, right? You could even add in social bookmarking sites or other Web 2.0 profiles like Scoopit, Kipit, or Kipt, Delicious, Dig, Folks, Pocket, Slashdot. There's a million others, right? And this is the easiest way to start a private blog network and where everyone should start. And we like to call this a social PBN. All right, that is not what this is going to be about, though. Okay, if you haven't seen our social PBN training, go check out the video on the Digital Triggers blog called The Authority Syndicate, Build a Social PBN. All right, this is literally a step-by-step guide on how to do this, and that's where you guys should all start. That's the easiest, cheapest way to get started. This is the more longer term advanced strategy for you guys, is going to give you guys a lot of the extra power that you guys need when you're going up against really competitive keyword phrases. All right, so social PBN is a prerequisite to this. If you haven't seen it, go watch that and go get set up with that first before you jump into building a traditional private blog network. So again, in this conversation, we're going to be focusing on self-hosted platforms, right? Like WordPress. You're going to be installing WordPress on a host, and you're going to be having a domain name, right? Typically, we're going to have a .com, .net, or .org domain. We really go after the top-level domains with our private blog networks, all right? This is going to require you to buy a domain, buy hosting, and set up your actual sites. So one important detail here with building a PBN before we go any further is that we don't want to link the sites together in any way. All right, some people call this a footprint. We're going to be talking about this in depth throughout the next couple of trainings. Okay, again, we're going to be talking about this later, and we're going to be talking about how we're grouping sites into pods and what we're doing to minimize our footprint. While we're on the subject of footprint, understand that there is really no way not to have a footprint. If you are listening in the marketplace right now and you're looking at PBN products or PBN software, they're going to tell you that there is, their software or their program will teach you how to make a private blog network without any footprint. Understand that that is complete and utter bullshit. Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It is bullshit. You're always going to have some type of footprint whenever you're buying domains and linking them to another one of your money sites. There will always be some type of footprint. It's just about how obvious that footprint is or isn't. All right, and so we're not going to get carried away with being 100% or not having a footprint at all, because that's just utterly ridiculous. It's bullshit, right? What we're going to be talking about is how to lessen your footprint. What are the obvious things that you guys should be doing that will help you guys from getting your PBN sites de-indexed or hit by a manual review? And take it from somebody that's lost many, many domains over the last decade or so by using and building PBNs. I know a lot when it comes to PBNs by looking at what was working, what wasn't, and how we actually got de-indexed, all right? So, first and foremost, is building a private blog network against Google's guidelines? Yes. It absolutely is. Understand that any links that you build, okay, or that anybody builds, that are intended to get you a higher ranking in Google search results is in violation of their guidelines. Maybe I should repeat that. Any links intended to get you a higher ranking in Google search results is in violation of their guidelines. All right, so if you build citations, meaning going out and putting you or your clients on local directory sites, which is obviously the key to ranking in Google Maps, or to your money site in order to rank better in Google My Business or Google Maps, you're in violation. Okay, if you go set up social profiles and Web 2.0s and everything else in order to rank higher in Google search results, again, you are in violation of their guidelines. Don't believe me? I took a quick screenshot here for you guys. And this is on support.google.com/webmasters. And this is under their quality guidelines. And it says link schemes. And again, it says any links intended to manipulate PageRank or sites ranking in Google search results may be considered part of a link scheme and a violation of Google Webmaster guidelines. This includes any behavior that manipulates links to your site or outgoing links from your site. That last part is so key, right? This includes any behavior that manipulates links to your site or outgoing links from your site. All right, even Matt Cutts says that you need links to get results, right? But it's actually against Google's terms of service. Actually, let's watch this video real quick of Matt. I think it's actually pretty funny here.
Today's question comes from Colchester in the United Kingdom. I hope I'm saying that right. The question is from Blue Bumblebee, who asks, "Hi Matt, does the Big G have a version of the search engine that totally excludes any backlink relevance? I'm wondering what search would look like, and I'm curious to try it out." So we don't have a version like that that is exposed to the public, but we have run experiments like that internally, and the quality looks much, much worse. It turns out backlinks, even though there's some noise and certainly a lot of spam, for the most part are still a really, really big win in terms of quality for search results. So we've played around with the idea of turning off backlink relevance, and at least for now, backlink relevance still really helps in terms of making sure that we return the best, most relevant, most topical set of search results.
All right, so how much of a catch-22 is that? All right, let's clear this up. If you build links to purposely rank higher in Google search results, you're in violation of their guidelines. Face it, if you're an SEO, which you are, that's why you're here after all, right? You're in violation of their guidelines. Why? Because your entire job is to rank your sites or your client sites higher in Google search results. And how do you primarily do that? By building links So kind of a rhetorical question, but why do PBNs work? Links. Face it, you are a black hat SEO. If you build links to rank higher in Google search results, you are considered to Google a black hat SEO. So let's step back for a second. I want to talk about why I personally haven't talked about building private blog networks and why I haven't, up until now, really done any trainings on it. Understand, number one, that they are uber aggressive. Okay, they are over promoted in our space. Now, does that mean I don't use private blog networks? No. Does that mean that they aren't useful? No. Okay, they're often marketed, PBNs, as you should be using these for client sites. And I think that's utter horseshit. Okay? They're often also marketed as the only way to get results in a competitive niche. Okay? And I don't believe that either of those are true. We're going to be talking about when we use PBNs and when we don't. As far as the only way to get competitive results, it is definitely not. Is it the easiest? Yes, without a doubt. Okay, so now that you have the truth, let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about when we actually use PBNs. So we use PBNs when we control the asset or the website. Okay, or when our client is 100% aware of what we are doing. And trust me, I still don't suggest that. Here's what you have to understand. At some point in time, your PBN, your private blog network, is going to get devalued from Google. You need to be aware of that, and you need to be okay with it. Okay, and my personal feeling is ride the wave while you can, right? It works. It works well. Okay, PBNs will help you rank a lot faster when you have that asset and you have that firepower behind that asset. So again, my personal feeling is ride the wave while you can. Like, take it while you can get it, right? So I want to share with you guys a real life example of me riding the wave, getting hit by Google, and being completely okay with it. I mean, yeah, it sucked, but I knew it was just a matter of time. So this is a site, 24-7 miamilocksmith.com, and this is actually ranking back in Google again. Be curious to see how long this actually lasts in Google before it's slapped yet again, since I'm publicly talking about this. Oh well, let me grab a sip of water here. All right, so as you guys can see, May 2012, maybe a little bit sooner, January, February, something like that, we set up the site, started getting some traction, SEMrush started seeing it. Fast forward to September, it's starting to get a little bit of relevancy. It's starting to rank actually in Google. Then fast forward to, let's say, that's January, so maybe October, November. It literally just takes off in the SERPs and literally go to over 1,000, 1,200 visitors a month is what SEMrush is saying, right? It's where that huge spike is. And then we just ride that wave, and then eventually we get hit again. Okay, Google actually comes and they slap us, and we go back down right to where we were. And now the domain is actually back, and we're ranking in Google again. But I want to talk about riding the wave, right? So this is what our call tracking platform showed in terms of call volume, right? So we go from zero, or basically zero calls, up to, in January, February, March, doing 200, 250, almost 300 calls a month just from this one site, just from SEO, and primarily from one keyword phrase, Miami Locksmith. And that was all done through our private blog network. All right, so I rode this wave, right? And then you can see where it tips off. Here down towards October, it literally, in November, it just kind of trails off, and it's been kind of steady basically since then. But I wanted to match these up, right? So the SEMrush results graph that I showed you first, and then our call tracking, right? We're getting paid via calls that are coming through our call tracking platform, our call tracking number. Once the customer clicks on Google on my search result, comes to my locksmith site, they pick up the phone and call. We're charging local businesses for those leads, right? So we call it pay-per-call or pay-per-lead. So you can literally see the spike in SERPs, the search engine results, pages is us ranking really, really well, and then us literally just getting murdered and falling back, somewhere around October or so. And you guys can see literally that's what my call volume shows as well. And the reason that I say my personal theory is ride the wave while you can, I think is very, very, or is articulated very, very well right here. So during that wave, just the wave alone, we received somewhere in the nature of 3,462 calls that were actually billable at $20 per lead. Okay, so literally just in a short amount of time, we generated almost $70,000 in revenue. And guys, I understand, and I understood from the very beginning that it would only last so long, and I was okay with that. All right, I was able to leverage a couple $100 investment to literally net out almost 70 grand. Okay, so again, my personal theory is ride the wave while you can. Okay, I understand at some point my sites are going to get hit, my rankings are going to drop. That's inevitable, but I'm going to make the money while I can. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes a whole lot of sense to you. And you see when you guys should be using PBNs, when you shouldn't, and what really your expectation is. Right? Because I feel like a lot of people in the industry are setting unrealistic expectations. Right? It's all marketing talk instead of real talk. So let's talk about the main way to build private blog networks. And that is with expired domains. So why expired domains? Well, because of their authority, right? Would you rather go start with brand new domains, or would you rather cherry pick and get some sites that already have backlinks, authority, and trust in the eyes of Google? Right? Let's growth hack the process, right? Let's go after sites and domains that already have authority and leverage them to our advantage. So I thought it was really important to walk you guys through the domain expiration process. This took me a really long time to figure out, and I thought it was important to share with you guys so that you guys understand really what's going on when you guys are buying PBNs at auctions, and when you can buy them after the auction as well when they're in the available state. And I don't think many people really teach you guys the difference. So basically, if a domain hasn't been registered before, or it hasn't been dropped recently, it's available, right? Anybody can register the domain. So you guys can go out to any domain registrar, like let's say GoDaddy.com, and you guys can just go pick up a domain if nobody else has it, right? Then you actually buy the domain, right? And when you buy the domain, it's considered active, okay? And it's registered for at minimum 1 year, right? Next up is the blue, right? Expired. So this happens typically from about day 1 through 45 when you haven't paid your bill. Okay? And only you, the original owner, is able to re-register the domain. Okay, so it expires, but only you are able to get it again. Then it flows into this tannish, yellowish color called the grace period. Okay, and typically the grace period is about 30 days. Okay, and this is when the domain becomes visible for auction. Okay, and you as the owner, since we're saying that you're the owner, are still able to re-register the domain just for an increased fee. If you buy through GoDaddy, you got to reach out to GoDaddy and say, hey, I want that domain back, and they're going to charge you a little bit more money, right? After that, it goes into pending delete. Okay, and this is typically 5 days or so or less, and you can no longer renew the domain. and nobody else can. And then it becomes available again. Okay, it goes back into that red phase and it starts back all over again. So let's talk about a real life example of this. Okay, this is a site that we actually owned called 7 Dogs and a Baby. Crazy domain, right? 7 Dogs and a Baby. So we used to own this, and it was one of our sites that actually got hit with a manual penalty, and I let it expire. Let's take a look real quick here at some of the metrics of this domain. According to Majestic SEO, right now, I don't have the stats from when we bought it years ago. The trust flow is a 14, citation flow is a 17, and it's got 69,000 backlinks, external backlinks too, right? And then the last 5 years, 273,000 plus backlinks. Okay, so understand when you are building a private blog network, 30,000 to 50,000 domains expire every day. All right. I found that stat. I'm not sure that it's really up to date. The article that it was posted in was about 2 years old, so it's probably actually a lot more than that. Our job is just to find the ones that have good metrics that we want to leverage for a PBN, right? So real quick, the last part of this video, I want to walk you guys through the metrics that we use for quality control. Okay, so from Moz.com, we just use a free account. And there's specifically 2 metrics that we use from Moz: domain authority and page authority. So domain authority is we just use DA for short, and it's a score from 0 to 100 that predicts how well a website will rank on search engines. Okay, and it's really used to compare one site's strength to another site's strength, right? The entire site to compare strength against strength from one domain to one domain, right? Then page authority, or PA for short, page authority measures the predictive ranking strength of a single page, right? So domain authority is the whole site itself, and page authority is just one individual page. I hope that makes a whole lot of sense. If not, go look it up in Google, do some more reading, all right, before we move on to the next video. So then from Majestic, you're going to actually need a paid account. All right, from Majestic, we look at 2 primary metrics: trust flow and citation flow, TF and CF. We also use Majestic for all of our backlink analysis. Okay, and the reason that we do that, and everything that we do, not just PBNs, is Majestic to us. We feel like Majestic crawls deeper than any other backlink platform, right? And it crawls more often, it seems. If you guys are doing marketing on any level, you want to know the best data. You want to have the best data available at your fingertips, right? That's why we use Majestic. If you guys are using, or if you guys are doing local SEO, Majestic is really the only platform that on a local level is going to give you a really good representation of your competition. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to majestic.com and go to opensiteexplorer.com and plug in the same domain and take a look at the backlink results. You'll see exactly what I mean. It's a night and day difference. So trust flow is a number predicting how trustworthy a page is. Okay, and citation flow is a number predicting how influential a URL might be based upon how many sites link to it. Okay, and you guys don't have to know everything about domain authority and page authority and trust flow and citation flow. You just need to have a pretty 101 knowledge of what these metrics actually mean so that you guys can really leverage the training that we're going to go through in the next video. So again, this was a very quick overview into PBNs and really meant for people that are brand new to private blog networks. Please let me know, again, in the chat if you have any specific questions over what we covered today. Okay. Also, if you have any specific questions on videos number 2 and number 3 that I should make sure to include for you. Again, this training is a big undertaking for me, 3 trainings, and I have to get this out in like 5 days. in order for me to be at my mastermind that I'm holding in Orlando on time. So do me a favor, help me make it worthwhile for you. I want to make sure it's as impactful as possible for you. So my goal over the next 2 additional trainings is to help you guys build out a 10-site private blog network for less than $500. Okay, all in $500. One of the things that I saw the most in the original comments to the overview video when I was asking for feedback was, what's this going to cost? One guy even said, how am I going to be able to do this without investing the money that I need for my mortgage to pay for a private blog network, right? So $500 for a 10-site PBN, that is the goal over the next 2 videos, all right? Today was the shortest by far because I need to give you guys this intro information for those of you guys that aren't caught up. Be prepared for the next 2 videos. They are going to be soup to nuts, and they're going to be a lot longer than this first one. So again, what's next? In the next training, we're going to be talking about our 3-level filtering process, all right? So level 1 is really the minimum metrics that we look at, and those are the first things. Does it match, does it match, does it match? Any of them that we find that match those metrics, any domains that match those metrics, we then go in and we do level 2 on them, right? So what we want to specifically look for is domains that have been spammed and they just have horrible, bad links. All right, if they pass level 2, then they go to level 3. And in level 3, what we're looking for is topical consistency, meaning that they haven't changed from a local convenience store to a gambling site to something in Japanese. And if you've bought PBNs and you've went through this process before, you're going to think that's really funny because it happens all the time. Okay? And besides the topical or niche consistency, we're also going to be looking at how many times it's dropped over time. And then last but not least, I'm going to be sharing with you guys exactly where we're buying domains. And in training number 3, PBN hosting and setup, this is really going to be the bulk of the meat, right? So once you've bought your domains, what's next, right? Where do you actually buy it from? Where do you host it? How do you minimize your footprint? How do you create and manage your content? What's the site setup look like? How do you link to money sites? And the list just goes on and on and on. Training number 3 is going to be a big boy for sure. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, be sure to comment below, and I'll be sure and reply back to them. Have an awesome day.